Alright, welcome back to the channel. Today we wanted to do a product unboxing. It's a little bit of a special one for me because, as you guys might have seen, RTR Hobby and Teenagers from Mars over in Germany were doing a product giveaway, and it was for the Boeing 737 radio panel. And I was very fortunate enough to be selected for the winner on that, and so I wanted to share with you the product that I just received. Just came in the mail from the DHL today from Germany, and I wanted to do the unboxing, kind of show you the initial look at the product, as well as some thoughts on what it looks like, and then we'll also try putting it together and plugging it up to the sim. So I'm going to go ahead and unbox this here. Got some nice tape on there. It's got the RTR Hobby sticker actually taped on the top. Hopefully we can still use that. On the bottom here there is a Hoowalt decal on there, and as you know, the manufacturer for this particular product is actually Hoowalt. Trying to remember the exact model number. It was D201 something, if I'm not mistaken. Go back and check. All right, so let's just open up the box. And you know, oddly enough, the my initial impression, just opening it up and taking a look inside, the product here looks awfully a lot like the B107 that we unboxed recently. Yeah, which is from Rosefire. So just looking at the inside of the box, it really does look like a Rosefire product. Maybe it's the same company, I'm not sure. But let's take a look. So this is the QR code that we're going to need in order to download the software. Most likely, I think it's a MobiFlight profile that we need to get, because I don't think the Rosefire app is actually going to work with this particular product. Let's take a look. So there's the instructions. We'll go ahead and download that in a little bit. The packaging looks very similar. It does have this hard foam core and these little cutouts for where the switch knobs or the knobs are. I'll go ahead and take that off. Wow, okay, here we go. So there's the inside of the box. It's got a couple of spacers in here. We'll take those out. And first off, we do see the mounts, or the legs that it comes with in order to mount this onto your desktop. As many people have already pointed out, it definitely does look 3D printed. You can see the print lines here, but not a problem. I like 3D printed parts. A lot of the parts on our simulator rig are also 3D printed. So hey, if that's what it takes to get products like this in hand, I will take that. All right, what else do we have in the box? Got USB-A to USB-C cable. They're nice and branded as, it says M-Shi, I think it says. But nice little orange ends on there, so you can easily tell which ones these are from all the other USB cables that we have plugged into the various USB hubs that we have for the simulator. Okay, over on the side here, we've got, looks like an AC power adapter of sorts. It says 100 to 240, 7.5 volts, 2 amps. Just take a quick look. Yep, standard 2-pin, the US Japan type of adapter on one end, and it looks like it's a barrel connector on the other. So I've seen some other people actually mention that you could try running this directly off of USB-C power. However, it is recommended to use the dedicated AC plug so that we don't put as much load onto the USB bus. But we'll give that a try in a bit. And what's this other box in here? This might be the fabled converter. There's a user manual in here. It looks like a travel adapter. Yep, that's what it is. Universal travel adapter. Which I don't think I'm going to need here in Japan because that 2-pin will work directly for me. But this will help those of you who are like in Europe. Like I think China uses these. Maybe parts of Europe use this. We've got the angled 2-pin. It just came back from Sydney, and I was surprised the plugs are actually these angled type. So for those of you in Australia, we're probably going to need this. And then over here, I believe this is the UK adapter and Hong Kong adapter. And on the front, there's multiple different pin-ins that you can plug into. So it's a real, simple travel adapter. I could definitely use this on my own business trips and vacations as well. So let's go ahead and stow that away. There's a USB 1 and a USB 2, so you can just plug into any one of these and then plug that into your wall outlet. Okay, and now the star of the show. Here is the panel. Wow, this is actually very light, much lighter than I thought. It is 3D printed. There's some print residue here, which is fine. A little bit shiny on some of the black parts and also on these plastic screw looking parts. The knobs also 3D printed, but for me, I'm usually playing in the dark, so this type of quality is not noticeable to me because I don't usually have a bright light shining on it. But for those of you who have setups with a lot of lighting, you may notice it has kind of a plasticky look, especially on the screws and the top here. Don't know if there's a way that you can sand these down just to make it look a little bit more, how do I put it, matte rather than this glossy feel. I don't know if you can see that with the light here. Okay. And then someone also mentioned, it would have been nice if they had the metal plates on here, but I like it. This looks nice. There's some embossing here with the Hoowalt logo and their website here. RTR Hobbies also put their sticker on top. And just a shout out to RTR Hobby. They've been really, really great with supporting my order. When I ordered the B107, Vivian over at RTR Hobby was very attentive, and major shout out to her for being so responsive and keeping me in the loop. As many of you know, with the B107, there was that prolonged delay with the shipments, and so having someone there to help fill you in on the status was help put me at ease and peace of mind. That's the word I was looking for. And so definitely recommend them if you're going to go through, or if you want to buy any of the Rosefire products. I definitely would recommend RTR Hobby, since some of the customer support directly from Rosefire might be a little bit lacking or might take some more time. RTR Hobby was definitely on the ball. Okay, so on the back we do have that barrel connector plug, or the insert here, and the USB Type-C. And then other than that, there's four silver screws holding the unit together. That's the front panel with the back casing. And there looks to be 6 screw holes here. I don't know what oh, no, you know what? I do know what that's for. It's for these legs that are gonna attach here. So it, just trying to see how this is supposed to fit, because there's this rubber pad on the bottom. And is that supposed to go this way? And the spacers don't quite line up to what you would expect it to. Try putting it this way. No, the holes don't quite line up. It may be that we have to figure out how to install this thing. But if you put it at this angle, it's going to be a little bit too shallow. Oh, you know what it is. Now that I'm looking at it, these holes align with these silver screws. Ah, okay, hold on. Sorry, I had to look a lot deeper in here. So each one of these 6 screw holes that you see here are what's actually holding the front panel to the back part. these silver screws are where you're supposed to attach this mount. So we need to unscrew these and then screw these on here. So it will be either at this angle, if you want it to point a little bit further up, for those of you who have lower desks. And then if you want it to be a little bit higher, I think we might be able to actually mount it like this, like an A-frame, like this. And then that might actually give you a slightly taller look. I'll give this a try. I think I'm going to want mine to be a little bit taller because as you'll see on my setup, my table is set up a little bit higher so that the yoke and also my autopilot panel are actually at my slightly below my eye line. So yeah, other than that, let's take a quick look at the front again. The buttons have a very nice tactile feel to it. They all seem to work fine. The HF sense knob, which no one seems to know what it's for. I believe it's for the HF sensitivity when you're using HF1, HF2, but I don't think it has any sort of function inside the actual sim. But mostly it's going to be used for VHF1 and maybe VHF2. We'll also see what the test button does. And yeah, other than that, I think I'll be using this guy a lot on the top for VHF1 and then the nav on the bottom for setting up the ILS frequency using these two knobs. All right. Well, with that said, let's go ahead and move over to the sim and we'll see this powered up. Okay, we're here in the sim room now. You can see up top we have the Rosefire B107 mounted, and down below I've put on the left hand side of my setup here for temporary purposes the new Hoowalt radio panel, and I put it alongside the Stream Deck, and the reason for that was I tried putting it up on the that A-frame higher pitch angle for the mounting brackets, but what I noticed is that when I did that, the unit wanted to keep falling over to the front, so ended up mounting it with the lower angle. And when I put it up alongside the Stream Deck here, it actually faces upwards at around the same angle, so I'm pretty surprised. This will probably be the angle that I do end up using it at. It is the proper mounting angle with the rubber feet on the bottom, so it won't slide around on your desk. I think this will actually work quite comfortably. Because I do have some space here on the side on the left, what I'm probably going to do is keep the radio on the right hand side right above the Bravo throttle quadrant, and I'll probably move the Stream Deck over to the left hand side next to the EFIS. Yeah, sorry, the left-hand EFIS and the FMC. We'll see how that goes. Maybe I prefer it the other way around, depending on how much I still need the Stream Deck. But I'm starting to guess that with the radio panel and with the B107 overhead now in place, I don't think I'm going to need the Stream Deck nearly as much. Probably just for setting the transponder. But then again, who knows, maybe that's when the transponder from Hoowalt becomes a necessity and slowly the Stream Deck really just loses its function. But we'll see. All right, we'll be back with you in a sec after we get everything fired up in the sim. Let me get the Mobi flight profile also set up as well. Okay, we'll see you in a sec.
A few moments later.
Okay, we're back in the sim now, and after about an hour of trying to figure out what I had done wrong, I downloaded the MCC file from the QR code that Hoowalt provided. Interestingly enough, Mobi Flight MCC files are split between the left and right side, so I had to pull down the left one since I want to simulate the captain's side. Pulled that down, had to reinstall FSU IPC because I had it installed at one point in time, but then I had removed it since I didn't need it. put that back in, but then I realized after putting in the MCC file, the Hoowalt unit fired up, and I was seeing 100 at the bottom display, and then 00000 up at the top. The buttons would work, but the displays weren't coming, and so figured out finally after a couple tweaks that FS2IPC wasn't connected to the sim, and then once that was running, everything seemed to come alive. But a couple things that you guys might notice as you're trying to troubleshoot the unit the first time, you do have to make sure that both the battery and the ground power are turned on your PMDG. Otherwise, the displays do not sync with the virtual cockpit. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what that looks like. Let's go ahead and turn on the battery switch here. So with that, all of the WinWing components come to life. But if you look over here, the D201 has not turned on yet, and that was because the MobiFlight, for some reason, the auto run wasn't working. So I'm going to go ahead and manually turn this on, hit the play button, and let's see. Yeah, now we have the backlight, and we're seeing some values showing up in the nav radios values. So if we look over here, nav is showing 110.5 and 113.9. Let's just see if we can zoom this out a little bit so we can show you better here. Maybe something froze on here. Okay. Looks like maybe my controls froze up, but yeah, anyhow, when we turn on the battery, only the nav indicators will come on. And if you were to turn on ground power, now we see all of the buttons have their lights turned on, and then the LCD displays for the Vox side actually do show up. So I'll go ahead and just make some changes over here on my Stream Deck for the nav radio, just to kind of show you that this is working. And let's go ahead and hit the transfer button. So that's working correctly. And then on the Vox side, let's go to comms, change my values up here, and we'll hit the transfer button. That works. So same thing if you were to do it over here. And then hit the transfer. There we go. So let's just pick a random value here, just so you can see it, and then transfer that over. All right. So yeah, for those of you who do run into this problem, make sure you turn the battery on, then turn ground power on, and then everything should work for you. One last thing I should just point out in the instructions that Hoowalt provides, there is a slight mistake, or sorry, I should say omission. For those of you who are using Microsoft Flight Sim 2024, the SDK modification instructions here, if you have to add these 3 lines for enabling data broadcast and CDU broadcast, the instructions here say to go to the 2020 versions for the store/Game Pass version. It says under C users, your username, app data, local packages, Microsoft Flight Simulator 8W blah blah blah. You need to replace that with the 2024 equivalent, which would be Microsoft.limitless blah blah blah. And then there's a slightly different folder structure in there, where under local state, you can see here on my screen down here, for 2024, the work folder is actually in local state WASM MSFS 2024 PMDG aircraft, and then your variant, if you're using 737-800, it'll be the 738 folder, and then within that folder you'll find the work folder. So look for the 737 options ini file inside this folder if you're using 2024. Okay. Other than that, yeah, I think this is really going to add a new texture to my sim experience here. Again, mad shout outs to RTR Hobby. Thank you so much for gifting this to me. I'm really looking forward to using this on my future flights. And also wanted to say a special thank you to Teenagers from Mars. They have a great YouTube channel. I do watch them time to time. Unfortunately, it's in German, so I have to watch it with the English subtitle or English dub turned on, which I do enjoy. But I do kind of miss not being able to understand all of the German expressions that they say on the channel, because they sound so excited, and I love watching their reviews. And I wish I just understood some German so that I could really understand it in the native language. But to them, I do say danke. Thank you so much for sponsoring this giveaway event. And I really, really do look forward to using the D201 with my setup. And hopefully we'll see you in another flight in the future with this actually in action. So for now, I'm going to call it an evening. But thank you very much for sticking around and watching to the end. All right. See you next time.